start the recording. And Vice President Villegas, you are now in record mode.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our meeting, June 3rd for the Board of Public Works. And Dr. Campos, I'll turn it over to you just to establish quorum.
Thank you. VP or Vice President Villegas. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum. We have Vice President Villegas, we have President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Corzan, and Commissioner Reyes. Vice President Villegas, we do have a quorum at this time. Currently, we do have one caller on the line that's here for general public comment. We also have a couple of callers on the line for item number 4, 2 callers for item number 4. We have 1 caller for item number 3 and 3 callers for item number 5. Again, 1 general public comment, 1 person for 3, 2 individuals for 4, and 3 individuals for item number 5. At this time, we have no commentary for under the neighborhood council comment section as well.
Okay, thank you. And Dr. Campos, if you could just guide me here, are we going to take general public comment first and then do the minutes, or do the minutes and then general public comment?
General public comment is fine. We'll go ahead and take that.
Okay, all right, then let's, we have 1 caller for general public comment. Why don't we take them?
Perfect, thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Tom Williams, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is now considering general public comment. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this segment. Please go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community from Northeast LA, LA 32 Neighborhood Council area. Speaking regarding Black Walnuts, but not item 3. So we're quite concerned because this season is the brush clearance season. And we're quite concerned regarding keeping as many black walnuts unbrushed, cleared as possible. There are requirements in the protected tree ordinance that says up to above 4 inches is protected, but it says 4 inches cumulative. And the fire department really doesn't know how to apply that. And I would highly recommend that it be explained that 4 inches can be accumulative diameters, that is 4 1-inch stems will equal a protected tree, rather than being 4 little unprotected trees. So clarification is required because right now, small, less than 4-inch diameter single stems are being cleared by brush clearance people because there's confusion between the LA Fire Department and the Department of Public Works. So I'd like to have somebody from Public Works get with Fire Department brush clearance prevention to sort that out and get it clarified. We're having problems as to people clearing have been told one thing and people watching and criticizing the clearing being told a different thing. So that's all.
Thank you, Dr.
Finish with public comment.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for that, Dr. Williams. And seeing that we don't have any others for public comment, why don't we move on then to, and we don't have any comments from neighborhood council either?
That is correct. We can go ahead and close out the neighborhood council and also public comments.
All right, then why don't we take a, the minutes from May 20th, Friday, May 20th, if we can have a motion to approve those.
So moved.
And I'll second those. All right, Dr. Campos, if you could just take a roll call for that.
Absolutely. There's been a motion by Dr. Davis, seconded by Vice President Villegas to adopt the minutes. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation, and we'll start with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great, thank you for that. All right, then let's go on then to item 1. And this is in CD 11, and it's a bid rejection, Asilomar Boulevard Stabilization Project, recommending the board to reject all bids received for the Asilomar Boulevard Stabilization Project and notify all bidders of the board's actions and authorize the Bureau of Engineering to immediately re-advertise for this project. Work order E1097673. And do we have Patrick, Mr. Schmidt? How are
Yes.
you? Good morning and happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Good morning, Vice President Villegas. You are correct. This board report is to reject all the bids received for the Asilomar Boulevard Stabilization Project and authorize the Bureau of Engineering to immediately re-advertise the project. The purpose of this project is to stabilize the portion of Asilomar Boulevard that is being impacted by an existing landslide. The project will consist of the removal of existing pavement, curb, and gutter, installation of 346 deep soil cement columns, and then construction of new pavements, curb, and gutter. On March 30th, 2022, the board received 2 bids for the project. Unfortunately, both bidders failed to pass their business inclusion program evaluation. As a result, the city engineer recommends that all bids received for their project be rejected and that the project immediately be re-advertised. That concludes this report. I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Thank you for that. And any questions from our board?
No, seems to be self-explanatory to me.
All right. Thank you for that. Then Dr. Campos, let's take a vote on this item.
Thank you, VP Villegas. I would just need a motion. And
So moved.
Item.
So moved.
I second.
Moved by Dr. Davis, seconded by
Rookie mistake.
Commissioner Reyes.
Wasn't that bad, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair?
No worries. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. Again, this is a motion to adopt item number 1, moved by Dr. Davis, seconded by Commissioner Reyes. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation if that's okay with you, Vice President Villegas.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Vice President Villegas.
Yes.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to move this item forward forthwith?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Then you are good to go, Mr. Schmidt. Enjoy the rest
Thank you,
of your
everyone.
afternoon.
Yep. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you too. All right. Let's move on then to item 2. And item 2 is in Council District 14. And this is an above ground facility variance. Address is 423 East 16th Street. And recommending the board to 1, approve the request for a variance from the height requirement of the above ground facility ordinance per the Los Angeles Municipal Code section 6208 VB for wood monopole, and to authorize Synergy Engineering Services on behalf of AT&T Mobility to install a 41-foot high wood monopole in the public right-of-way adjacent to 423 East 16th Street. And good morning, Tanit and Wesley. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, thank you. My name is Wesley Tenajeri. I'm the Central District Engineer of the Bureau of Engineering, and I also have my AGF Supervisor Tenant certificate on as well. The item before you is a request for variance from the above ground facility ordinance for height limitation at 423 East 16th Street. Synergy Engineering Services is applicant to install a 41-foot high monopole and the public right-of-way. The variance request was submitted September of 2021. Figure, I believe figure 1 shows the location. And let's see the next one. Oh, the request for variance is due to the height limitation for the AGF. And there's 3 conditions that must be met. The first is that the measures for consistent with the aesthetic guidelines of the AGF ordinance. Second is that there needs to be a financial or technical alternative, or they cannot find a financial or technical alternative for the height variance. And third, that the Cultural Affairs Commission approved the design. Bureau of Engineering staff reviewed the request and have determined that the applicant has met all 3 conditions. Part of the process includes notification, and in December of 2021, notifications were sent to adjacent and abutting and across the street property owners, notifying them of our determination to allow this above ground facility. No responses were received. Therefore, we're continuing our process and requesting approval from the board. The notifications also included Council District number 14 as well. Therefore, we are requesting approval of the variance for this overheight AGF. Tenant and I are available for any questions.
Okay. And commissioners, do you all have any questions for this item?
I don't.
No, it doesn't look like it. You all said that City 14 was informed of this, but you didn't hear anything back, or they didn't have any comments?
It appears Council District 14 did not take a position on this.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have any questions either. Appreciate your report. Commissioners, do we have a motion for this item?
So moved.
I'll move the item. Anybody want to second it?
Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Campos, we have a motion moved by myself and seconded by Dr. Davis. I'm going to just take a little bit of a roll call.
Absolutely. I'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to move this item forward forthwith?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both for joining us today. Have a good rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, moving right along then to, let's go on to item 3, and this is in Council District 1. I understand, Dr. Campos, we have one person for public comment on this. Do you want me to read the item in and then take public comment, or take public comment and then read the item in?
The former, read the item first and then we'll take the call.
Okay.
And then, Bureau of Street Services can present their presentation. Okay,
great. All right. So item number 3 is in Council District 1, and this is a tree removal at 596 North Quail Drive. And recommending the board, 1, find that the project is categorically exempt under section 15303 Class A and section 15332 Class 32 of the State Environmental Quality Act guidelines. And there is no substantial evidence evidence the proposed project will have significant effect on the environment and is in compliance with CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act. And 2, find that none of the exceptions to use of the categorical exception as set forth in this section 15300.2 of the state CEQA guidelines apply. 3, specify South Broadway is custodian of the document or other material that constitute the record of proceedings upon which the board's decision is based. And 4, review and approve the request for a fee permit to remove 7 protected trees and shrubs, which include 5 Southern California black walnut, Juglans California trees, and 2 Mexican elderberry, Sambucus mexicana shrubs, and tree replacements are required. All right, I can see why others who have had to read these board letters get a little tongue-tied. All right, then let's take public comment, and Mr. Ramirez, we'll hear from you after that.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. Lynette from Council or from CFAC, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time, Lynette Kempe. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is now considering item number 3. You will have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Sorry for the delay. So this is Lynette Campi. I've been a resident of Mount Washington for over 40 years, and I'm the CD1 representative for CFAC. So I'm asking that you decline the removal request. As you're well aware, the Southern California black walnut is a California rare listed plant. And I am in the city of Los Angeles, and particularly I'm seeing in Mount Washington, all of the lots that used to be considered unbuildable are now getting built. So places that were refuges for this rare plant, rare tree are now getting built and they're being removed. What particularly raises alarm bells with me is I went to the planning documents for this project, and in 12/2 of 21, a landscape plan was submitted. It's listed as an approved document that has no replacement trees. It's got this horticultural Disneyland of Madagascar, Ocotillo, silk foss trees, bottlebrush, no walnuts, and no Sambucus, no elderberry either. Back in 4/4/19, there was a landscape plan submitted that had 24 replacements for the walnuts. And at that time, the elderberry wasn't protected, so it's not listed. But they are shown as being 5 to 10 feet apart. A walnut can take the stature of an oak tree, so that is too crowded. There's a fair amount of space. Every bit of it needs to be given in order to give these trees an opportunity to mature. And in particular, because I'm alarmed by this other landscape plan that is more recent, it seems essential that there be monitoring that after the 3-year bond period, that we make sure that those trees are still there and that they haven't been overplanted with this, as I said, Disneyland of exotics. So those are my comments, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate that, and thank you for joining us this morning. I know it's out of your time and day, so appreciate your input. Dr. Campos, did we lose Dr. Davis?
I believe we did. Give me 1 second. Yes, we did. Let me go ahead and text him. Madam Chair, you do have a quorum still, so you do have 3 individuals on the line, and
okay.
That also does clear up the queue for comments on item number 3.
Okay, why don't we hear the report, and in the meantime, we'll just wait till for Dr. Davis to join us since we still have quorum. Appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Ramirez, please proceed.
Good morning, Vice President Villegas, commissioners, and stakeholders. My name is Brian Ramirez with Streets LA Urban Forestry Division, and I will be presenting this item for today. What we have before us is a request authorization for the board to to authorize a fee permit to remove 7 protected trees and shrubs, which include 5 Southern California black walnut, Juglans californica trees, and 2 Mexican elderberry, Sambucus mexicana tree shrubs for construction of a new single family dwelling on a vacant lot, and tree replacements are required. Mr. Kevin Lavelle, the property owner, is proposing to build a new 2-story single family dwelling at 596 North Quail Drive. This property is located within the Mount Washington Glassell Park specific plan area, and the project will include a residential floor area of approximately 2,625 square feet, which includes a garage on a lot measuring a total of 6,794 square feet. The site has a steep to moderate topography, and the applicant is required to perform grading as per the Geology Soils Report approval letter to enable the proposed construction. Mr. Lavelle obtained the services of Arsen Margosian, a Los Angeles Municipal Code defined tree expert, to evaluate the project and impact to any protected tree on the property. Mr. Arsen Margosian prepared a protected tree report for the property at 596 North Quail Drive. So as a response to the request, and submitted the protected tree report for Streets LA review. A total of 15 protected species were identified on the property, of which 7 protected species were identified for removal. An additional 9 protected trees and or shrubs are located on the 2 abutting properties, which will receive no impact as a result of construction. Mr. Arsen Margosian's site assessment of the site reveals a total of 11 protected Southern California black walnut, Juglans californica trees, 3 Mexican elderberry, Sambucus mexicana shrubs, and 1 Toyon, Heteromelis arbutifolia shrubs on the subject property. A Streets LA arborist inspected the location on February 25th, 2022, and agrees with Mr. Arsen Margosian's tree assessment and recommendation that the removal of 5 protected trees and 2 protected shrubs will be required. The proposed planting plan specified within the protected tree report submitted to Streets LA is deemed to be satisfactory, as there is ample room for the mitigation replants to successfully grow and establish. As it pertains to the alternative methods that we explored, Streets LA definitely seeks to preserve trees whenever possible, and we only consider removal after all feasible alternatives have been exhausted. So the subject lot of 6,794 square feet is located in an R1-1 residential zoning area on a natural steep hill with almost 40 feet of grade difference between the highest and lowest grades. As per the protected tree report, Appendix 3 site plan, it is evident that the design and footprint of the proposed residence was designed in a manner that sought to preserve as many protected trees as possible, while also enabling for reasonable development. Protected trees number 6, 7, 9, and 10 and 12 are located towards the front of the lot and will be retained and protected in place throughout construction. Protected trees number 1, 2, and 3 are located towards the rear of the lot, and they will not have any impact throughout construction. The protective fencing has been installed around all 8 trees to be retained and will remain in place throughout construction. As a condition, if approved, the applicant shall plant 20 15-gallon size or largest available container of Southern California black walnut trees and 8 15-gallon size or largest available container size of the Mexican elderberry shrubs on site to replace the removed trees and shrubs. And the survival of the tree replacements will be guaranteed by bond for a period of 3 years. Upon issuance of the protected tree removal permit, Streets LA shall be notified a minimum of 10 days prior to the day the protected tree removal shall occur, and the applicant's tree expert shall be on site the day of the removal to ensure that the proper trees are removed. A Streets LA arborist will arrange an on-site meeting with the applicant or their tree expert the day following the protected tree removal. The applicant, in conjunction with the project's landscape architect or tree expert, shall be responsible to ensure that the tree removal permit replacement conditions are in compliance. Streets LA shall be notified no later than 5 days after the completion of the tree replacements. A Streets LA arborist will make arrangements to visit the site and approve the tree replacements as being in compliance with the permit conditions within 5 working days of the notification of planting completion. As it pertains to the notifications, the First Council District Office, Community Forest Advisory Committee, they were both informed of the tree removal permit request on April 19th, 2022, and they were enabled to provide any, raise any issues or concerns, feedback to the Urban Forestry Division. I do want to point out that as of yesterday, we did receive an email from a representative of CFAC objecting to the removals, to which Streets LA responded by reaching out to the Deputy District Supervisor of the Council District 1, Jose Rodriguez, and I will quote his email stating, "Field staff have not raised any concerns received by the community." And this was Thursday, January 2nd at 3:47 p.m. Aside from that, there have been no other objections raised through the formal established process that we have of email communications. And this will conclude my presentation for you today. And if you have any questions, I make myself available to answer any of those.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez, for your report. And commissioners, do we have any questions on this item? No. I had a brief question, Mr. Ramirez. The replacements, I just want to state this for the record and just see if I understood it correctly as well. The replacements will be 20 black walnuts, is that correct? 15-gallon, 20 black walnuts? And 8 Mexican elderberries?
That is correct. And that is a 4-to-1 mitigation per species. So we're replacing in kind on this property.
Okay, and those are, I'm only saying this comment, those are indeed acceptable by Urban Forestry to be able to be planted.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, I'm not sure if there was a misunderstanding. I know the public comment said that there was, she used like the word Disneyland of extra types of plantings that were going to be planted here, but it seems like we're still following, we're making the owners still follow the requested guidelines by Urban Forestry.
Yes, and if I may add to that, the plans that were submitted for our review and approval did in fact reflect the 4-to-1 mitigation in kind of the protected species. I'd like to further point out that the plan with the mulch, as it's a downhill a slope area, again, I think is appropriate for this species and is deemed acceptable by Streets LA.
Okay, and do we have the owner or their representative here on the call?
I believe he was going to be listening in, but he mentioned to me this morning he was having issues with his actually logging in, as there was a change in the website from what I understood. Okay. But he may not be available for public comment.
Okay. Are there any other additional plantings that will be done in addition to the 4-to-1 ratio that the owner is required to plant?
No, from the plans that have been submitted to us in transmittal number 7, there is no additional or other species, other quantity that is going to be planted at this location.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. And Dr. Campos. Oh, and I think Ted has his hand raised as well.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I do see two individuals that have raised their hand for this item. Perhaps maybe this could be the applicant or also other comments that may have came in as your board is deliberating. Would you like me to double check to see who those two individuals are?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. And if they are comments, would you like to take those comments?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and do that now then.
That's all I was going to say. Dr. Campos read my mind.
Okay, same page.
Good team effort. At this time, we're going to go ahead and identify David Gonzalez Rojas. Davis Gonzalez Rojas, you have your hand raised. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 3. If you are the applicant, please let us know, or if you'd like to just provide public comments on this item, please go ahead. You'll have 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is David Gonzalez. I'm the applicant on this project. I'm actually the architect, and it's good to meet all of you, and thank you for your time today. In response to the previous public comment, I could maybe help clarify what she saw, which was a planning department submittal from a couple of years ago, which there is at times some discrepancy with what the planning department thinks is okay, like as a mitigation in terms of the species. They only specify in the Mount Washington specific plan that you have to replace protected trees with 4 new trees, but they don't specify that it has to be the same kind of tree. They kind of leave that up to urban forestry. So the plan she was looking at was an older plan. The plan that Brian Ramirez presented today, which can be found on the links related to this hearing today, do show, in fact, in collaboration with Brian Ramirez, that we do need to plant in-kind replacements. So we will be planting the 20 black walnut trees and the 4 Mexican elderberry trees. And that will be part of the requirement that we're bound to with the bond, right? The tree bond that we'll be doing, and that will be inspected in 3 years, and however often it needs to be done in the meantime. So I hope that clarifies that point. And I'm available if there's any other questions, but I'll conclude my public comment now. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Campos, for getting him on the line. I still see your hand raised, Dr. Campos.
Yes, I will go ahead and add Mr. Gonzalez to the panel just in case your board has any further questions for him. He will join us as a panelist, and he can interact with your board as needed. We do have 2 other hands that are raised. Caller ending in 890, caller ending in 890. The Board of Public Works is now taking comments on item number 3. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time by pressing *6, you'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. Board, this is Diana Nicole here. I want to also highlight something that the CFAC representative for this council district mentioned that seems to be ignored right now, and that is, and by the way, she's the former president of Theodore Payne Foundation, so she knows a little something about native trees. And her other concern that she mentioned in her comment having to do with the spacing of the protected trees. So we not only want to ask the applicant to plant the 4-to-1 as required under the protected tree ordinance, but we want them planted in a way that those trees will survive. And 5-foot spacing is what it looks like on the plans that are in the transmittals, as Ms. Campy was explaining, and that is not enough for the trees to survive. The required spacing is somewhere in the nature of 20 to 30 feet. So if you plant trees in an ornamental way, then they are not going to survive. They'll get disease. They won't be able to replace the canopy that's lost, and a whole bunch of other issues with that. And in fact, that's a letter, I believe, from CFAC to the board was submitted to you all maybe last month or so, highlighting that very concern because we're seeing these repeatedly. And secondly, I just want to say I review tree reports all the time for folks at the neighborhood councils that asked me to do that. And this tree report was missing a substantial amount of information, which might be a source of some of the confusion. But I reached out to Brian with those concerns. There was a cover sheet missing, table of contents, elements of the project overview, proposed development description, and numerous other items that are missing from the tree assessment that are normally required that might be in the hands of Urban Forestry Division, but weren't on the transmittal for the public to review. So we ask that you continue this so that we can get all the information and the correct planting plan.
Thank you for your public comment. And Dr. Campos, did we have any other callers?
Yes, we do. We have just one more caller, Dr. Tom Williams. You have your hand raised for item number 3. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time, you'll have 2 minutes to speak under item number 3.
I think I'm unmuted now.
Yes.
Dr. Tom Williams, Citizens Coalition for a Safe Community. I've been around this particular area. There's several houses being involved. However, my concern right now is that at less than 18-foot centers, any walnut tree can be removed as part of brush clearance. So you should coordinate with the LA Fire Department Prevention Brush Clearance Group because they prohibit anything closer than 18-foot centers in their brush clearance. So if there are trees that are planted on 12-foot centers, as 20 some odd on this particular lot would probably be required, they can be legally removed the next year. 18-foot centers are required. So you need to coordinate with brush clearance regarding any replacement trees and especially how close they are together. Thank you. That's all.
I appreciate that, Dr. Williams. Thank you for your public comment. And Mr. Ramirez, just in trying to answer some of the concerns that were raised, was the information shared with the previous caller? She's saying that some of the reports are incomplete.
Yeah, I'd like to state that her statement is not accurate. The transmittals that I actually presenting with per the Board of Public Works website clearly depicts all of the transmittals that are available to the public. Transmittal number 3, she stated that it didn't have a cover page, it didn't have a table of contents, and as you guys, if the public is able to pull this up, it's inaccurate to state that. Clearly, there is a cover page, there is a table of contents, and this protected tree report written August 16th, 2021, did satisfy our checklist within our application process. So I would just like to clarify that.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then just to take on the item of the plantings, and if the owner is still on the line, if he wants to help answer any of these or questions, some of the comments that we heard in terms of, plantings and making sure that they are far apart from one another so that there's the viability for growth and, just being able to have these beautiful trees just live on for a longer life. Is there any flexibility in that, or is if Mr. David Gonzalez Rojas can join us to answer any of those questions?
Sure. Can you guys hear me?
Indeed, yes, we can.
Hi, thank you so much. Absolutely. There is definitely flexibility on the site. As you can see on the site plan, there's actually a large rear yard available, which only has plans to be in the future. I believe the owner, has no plans to develop any additional structures in the rear. So it will just be open for landscape, and definitely in consultation with the landscape designer and the planting team that comes on site, as well as urban forestry. We definitely want the trees to survive and to be planted correctly, as we will also be having inspections on that. So I think, we're definitely not interested in planting something that isn't going to work. The owner is planning to live here. This is like their dream home, and it costs money to get these trees. Actually, kind of a side point, it's very difficult to actually find black walnut trees for purchase in the city of Los Angeles and surrounding areas. So it is an expensive thing to do, and there's no intent to do it incorrectly here. So I hope that puts Lynette and Diana at ease. They're the ones who made this comment, and they're welcome to actually meet us on site as well. It sounds like they're the experts on this actually, and join us. My information is posted on the job site, so I can be reached, and my office is 5 minutes away. So I'm happy to be involved and make sure that it's done properly. That's all.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today, just to be able to provide a little bit more context and answering some of the public comments, questions. And yeah, thank you for letting us know that your intent is to be able to have the trees be able to live and have additional spacing in between. Thank you for that. And I hope that some of the public callers can take you up on that, and at least meet with you outside of this to be able to review that. That would be helpful. All right, and commissioners, is there any other questions? I don't see any other questions. Do we have a motion for this item?
So moved.
We have a second?
I second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Corsand and a second by Commissioner Reyes. Dr. Campos, if you'd like to take roll call.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to move this item forward forthwith?
Please. Yes.
To enter, please state your full name.
Right.
Press any key to end recording.
I think somebody, if I can just mute their lines, that would be helpful. All right, moving on then to item number 4, and this is in all council districts. This is a sole source offer of work agreement and 1-year renewal option as needed haul truck program fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Recommending the board to 1, authorize the board, or 2, board members to approve and execute up to 19 additional sole source offer of work agreements for Bureau of Street Services in their as needed haul truck program for fiscal year 2021-2022. And 2, authorize the Bureau of Street Services to exercise the 1-year renewal option for fiscal year 2022-2023 for up to 97 independent truck owner operators consisting of existing 78 plus 19 additions. And 3, approve and execute a fiscal year 2022-2023 authority for expenditures in the amount of $15 million to cover the fiscal year 2022-2023 expenses for the as-needed haul truck program, work order M0010011. And let's see. Hi, Melanie. Miss Chow, how are you? And hello, Rose. Oh.
Madam Vice President, we do have callers on the line for item number 4. Would you like to consider those comments now or after the presentation?
You are right. We have 2 folks on for public comment. Is that correct, Dr. Campos?
That is correct.
Okay, why don't we take those? And in the meantime, Ms. Chow, we couldn't hear you, so I hope we don't have the same problem as last week. Just letting you know that in advance. Okay, let's take the callers first. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. We'll go ahead and take the first caller ending in 565. Kenyatta Cole, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time by pressing *6. The Board of Public Works is now considering item number 4. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Thank you. This is Kenyatta Cole, and I'm a part of the as-needed truck program. And we would just like to be in agreement and commend the Bureau of Street Services for asking the Board of Public Works to add the 19 new trucks. They pulled off the list, and we are in agreement with recommendation 1, and also to extend the offer of work for 2022 and 2023. And also, we are standing with the board, the Bureau of Street Services, asking for the AFE for 2022 and 2023. We want to thank the Bureau of Street Services, Director Keith Mose, his whole team, Melanie Choi, Christine Lee, for all their hard work, despite what's coming down from the mayor's office. And last but not least, we'd like to thank the Board of Public Works, Vice President Teresa Villegas, Dr. Davis, for all you guys' hard work. You're doing the City of Los Angeles a great service. And just once again, we just want to thank you. And also, this program is standing in agreement with the Bureau of Street Services and asking that for all 3 recommendations. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for your call. And Dr. Campos, I think we have 1 more caller.
Yes, we do. Caller ending in 244. Caller ending in 244. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time by pressing *6. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under item number 4.
Hi, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Victor Vasquez Sr. I'm currently a truck driver in the As Needed program, and I'm also the first Southern Vice President of the Western States Trucking Association. I'm very familiar with the industry, and I'd like to thank you all parties for your hard work and sharing some current trucking information and updates are very vital. And we just need you to understand that we are facing an industry-wide fuel crisis. A proposal and recommendation to review and update is badly needed. Our competitors who we work with currently earn $103 per hour for a Super 10 dump truck, and the low sides rate is $123 an hour. And that is through AAA plant and formerly known as CPR trucks. We are currently at $93.03 for a Super 10 truck and $97.50 per hour for low sides. As per today, AAA California diesel average rates have shot up 61.65%. A year ago, it was $4.07 per gallon. Today, it's $6.54 per gallon. One of our outside competitors, RJ Noble, who does the same thing that we do, their rates we call it working on the outside. They're at $102 an hour for a Super 10, 114.24 on Saturdays, and $132.60 on Sundays. So we would like to recommend and propose a motion to Public Works and the City of Los Angeles to increase the percentage of rate to accommodate our crisis and the nationwide fuel increases that we're dealing with. I mean, it's just unbearable, and we're not bleeding. I've said it before. We're hemorrhaging, and it's pretty sad that your own family members will call you and say, "Hey, man, I heard diesel prices have shot up, and how are you doing with the business? We're 7 days a week. If there was 8 days a week, I told my wife I'd be working 8 days a week. There's no shortcuts, in this game and this business, and we're doing our due diligence." So thank you for your time. I just want to put that in your ear, and hopefully it'll be up for consideration.
Thank you so much to both callers for joining us today. All right, I'm going to turn this over to our Streets LA staff to go over the report before us today. Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
A little, yes, we can hear you. It sounds like you're a little bit in a tunnel. Maybe just speak a little closer.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
So, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for. So,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to interrupt you. It's very faint.
I am.
Sorry.
I don't know what's going on. Every time I
know.
Can you hear me okay?
You sound like you're in a tunnel. Rose, is there any way that you could do the report, or Mr. Jordan? I see your hand is raised.
Well, I was just going to suggest perhaps if she calls in with a phone, that might.
Yeah, maybe that.
I can't hear it at all. I mean, I don't.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name's Rose Karagesian. I'm with Bureau of Street Services. And in the meantime, I guess Melinda can try to see if she wants to call in to take over and to potentially answer some questions or check on her headphones. But so this request is for the As Needed Trucker program. This program is a long-term program that the Bureau has supported in order to we've had agreements with these as needed truckers for a long time. We currently have about 78 truckers in the program. This particular report is to increase the number of truckers in order to meet the operational needs of the Bureau. The specifics is that we want to add the 19 truckers to this program in order to meet our operational needs. These truckers are paid by the ton and in accordance to the agreement, as well as, they are also paid, hourly and wait times based on their wait times as well. This particular agreement is for fiscal, to add the 19 people for this fiscal year through June 30th, as well as to renew the agreement from July of next fiscal year through June of 2023, and to be able to continue to utilize these as needed truckers as part of our operations. In terms of the authority for expenditure, we do have sufficient funds this fiscal year to continue the program, but we do want to the board to consider the authority for expenditure for 15 million for next fiscal year, so that we can seamlessly continue to pay these as-needed truckers for the services they provide to the city. The authority for expenditure is in the amount of 15 million. I see Melinda's hand is raised.
Ms. Chow, if you wanted to
chime in, yes.
Yeah, speak up.
That.
Is their technology working now?
We'll check.
I also called in.
Okay.
Dr. Campos can add me to the panelists.
Yes, you're on the panelists right now. You sound so much better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
Thank
okay.
you, Melinda. Yes, that sounds much better. So I kind of already went over some of the recommendations to add the 19 and to continue the agreements for next fiscal year. And I was on the third recommendation, basically to indicate that we want to get the authority for expenditure to be approved so that we can pay these truckers next fiscal year. Melinda, you can go ahead and take over if you'd like, or we can just ask for questions maybe.
Sure.
And Melinda, if you wanted just to provide a little bit of background, how long they've been, what they haul, just a little bit more information. Some of us are familiar with it, but since we are being recorded and for the public so that they can have a little bit more context, I think that would be helpful and most helpful for our commissioners as well.
Certainly. So Streets LA's As Needed Haul Truck program has been in existence since the 1890s and is used to supplement the Bureau's trucking workforce by hauling debris, concrete, and asphalt for Streets LA projects, but mostly is for street repaving projects. The program establishes an on-call contractual list of truckers who can be called upon on an as-needed basis, depending on Streets LA's daily workload. The program provides Streets LA with flexibility to adjust to fluctuating operational needs while providing Streets LA with experienced, reliable, and dedicated truckers. In July of 2021, the board approved an execution of work agreements with up to 82 truckers, which included a one-year renewal option for fiscal year 22-23. It also included a rate increase of 18% to account for inflation since the previous rate increase, which was back in March 2015. In June of 22, we also requested the board approve a $3 million increase to this AFE from $11.8 million to $14.8 million for fiscal year 21-22 to cover the anticipated expenditures for the fiscal year. Current expenditures through the end of May 2022 total $13 million. So we will have enough to cover with the $14.8 million for this fiscal year. So this board report, we're asking specifically to add 19 additional truckers to the program. And this will increase the total from our current 78 truckers to 97 truckers. And that will help keep up with service demands. The reason why we're asking for the addition partly is because only about 60 of the 78 truckers currently make themselves available daily, and some are maybe out for vacations, long-term leave, illnesses, or they may not have a substitute driver or an operational truck. So for various reasons, and by adding the additional truckers, our dispatch center has basically said they have a need for additional 19. So that's why we actually reached out to 38 truckers who are in our existing waiting list. So As part of this board report, we're also requesting to exercise a 1-year renewal option, which would extend the term through June 30th, 2023. And that would cover the existing 78 truckers as well as the 19 additions. And we're also asking for the AFE of $15 million to fund the program for fiscal year 22-23. Now, in terms of how the 19 truckers were selected, we, in addition to trying to meet the service demands by bringing on more available truckers, we also wanted to further our efforts to add trucks that are as low polluting as possible. The truckers on the waiting list were prioritized by vehicle fuel types, and while still taking into consideration their waiting list ranking, they were prioritized with number 1, zero emissions vehicles, which would be battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell. Secondly, reduced emission vehicles such as compressed natural gas vehicles. And then thirdly, diesel trucks that are 2007 or newer truck model years. And fourth, diesel trucks that are pre-2007. Based on our reaching out to these 38 truckers, we received responses from 34. Unfortunately, we did not receive any truckers with zero emission or reduced emission vehicles. All 33 of the 34 were 2007 or newer diesel trucks, while 1 was pre-2007. So we invited 25 truckers to apply for the addition, and all 25 are 2007 newer diesel trucks. Of the 25 invited, 19 of the truckers actually submitted all the paperwork before the deadline. So we accepted all 19 into the, we would like to add all 19 of those into the program. Just so everyone knows, the majority of the truckers in this program really cater to the city's commitment to bring on small businesses, minority-owned businesses. And although only 11 are minority certified and 5 are small business entity certified, they are in essence small and minority owned. So we have encouraged them to get certified by our Bureau of Contract Administration. And as two of the truckers had already commented earlier, they have asked us to consider a rate increase, and we are completely cognizant of inflation, especially the high cost of fuel. We also know that the federal government has committed to tame inflation by increasing the federal borrowing rate. So we will monitor that closely. And we do know that there are also supply chain issues, and with the COVID pandemic, things are going to be very fluid. So we will be monitoring throughout the fiscal year. And then if it's warranted, we will come to board for a potential rate increase. And also, what we're asking is very critical, because if this program is not renewed, we will not have the staff nor the equipment available to take over the hauling services currently provided by the truckers. Costs would also increase exponentially because we would have to invest in buying equipment, and that cannot be brought on in a short period of time. And even existing employees we just don't have enough employees to, even if they were to work overtime, there wouldn't be sufficient staffing involved. And overtime would also, exhaust employees and make it more prone for injury and accidents to happen, as well as, our sidewalk repairs, our paving projects, and all other programs would be delayed. Any program that would basically rely on these truckers would be delayed. So therefore, we are really asking that the board approve this report.
All right, thank you both for your report, and to our public callers. I see 2 hands raised. Commissioner Davis, we'll start with you, and then followed by Commissioner Corson. You're on mute.
Thank you so much. I'm in between 2 computers here trying to transform to a better computer, and I'll get that done hopefully soon. But yeah, you're preaching to the choir here. We know the value of this program, not only in terms of what it provides for us in terms of service to help the Bureau, but also what it adds to us in terms of diversity. We know that we'd like to see more diversity in the Bureau, and that this particular program helps add that value to the Bureau, particularly when it gets to hiring certain minority communities who equally ought to have an opportunity to be included into the publicly funded programs that we administer. So for that, we are very supportive of making sure that we continue these services so that all of the different communities in Los Angeles, particularly those who have been underserved and underrepresented in the work that we do. This program gives us a glimpse at how some of those who have not been included into the publicly funded programs that we administer, how they are, in fact, some of them included in this particular trucking program. What I'm interested in, and my question is, of the 19 individuals that we are adding to the program, these are small businesses, and how do we go about in getting these additional 19?
So each year we actually go out for either to renew the existing agreements or open it up to brand new enrollments. The last time we opened it for enrollment and renewals was back in 2021. Because of the pandemic and the uncertain nature of this program, we did not go out for open enrollment again. So we basically went out to our waiting list that was established back in 2020. So the people who typically apply for these, again, they are mostly minorities and local small businesses.
Small businesses,
However, again, most of them do not go through the certification process with the Bureau of Contract Administration. And that's why I have spoken to Ken Natico, who was one of the public callers, and he has been a spokesman for the truckers in the past. And so I have encouraged him to talk to the truckers to try and go through the certification process.
Yes, because what we do in government is we provide information for technical assistance, perhaps on all of our programs where there is a need. And so we're doing the same here to make sure that they are connected to contract administration, who provides that technical assistance so people can get in compliance as we would like for them to be with the certification and other training programs that we think are necessary to be successful. So that is what you're doing on behalf of Street Services, is giving that information to these individuals so that they can be in compliance with what we think is necessary for them to succeed. Is that pretty accurate?
Yes. And okay. I have directed him to the RAMP LA website as well.
Good. Well, in terms of what we're doing here, I think it's really good in terms of the solution to the various challenges that we've had over the past, depending upon who looks at a program and depends upon the values of the administrators reviewing a program, that oftentimes it becomes a barrier and a challenge for us to keep programs in place that are inclusive. So I think that adding the 19 will hopefully solve some of the special interest issues that have been raised in the past, and that this program, as you've already stated, is of value to the services that you provide. And again, you're talking to the choir when you talk to the board, because we've been here and we know what value it is. But I will just conclude by saying that this is a very important program because it also gives us an opportunity to be inclusive of communities that have been underserved by the employment that we provide. So for that, I support the program. And thank you so much for the report.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Corsan.
Thank you. A little bit of echoing what Commissioner Davis just said. Full support of this program for the merits that Commissioner Davis raised. I know I've spoken to Rose about this before. This program is actually very personal to me. My mom in 1988 married a gravel truck driver who was freelance and did short haul, long haul. And so as a child, I grew up with direct knowledge of what it's like to have one of these micro enterprises, truck drivers in the family, the hours, the financial constraints. So I think it's great. I think Rose, I told Rose this week, the last time we spoke, I said, let's expand the number, let's give more opportunities. So it's fantastic to see that's happening. But also I want to express that I agree with our two callers. I think this industry is really hard. I think hearing Melinda and Rose talk about how difficult it was to get lower emission trucks to participate in the program speaks to the limitations of the financing structure, that one of these new trucks cost $160,000 to $200,000. A used one costs about $120,000. And that's just the truck itself, not the trailer. The trailer, you're talking about another $20,000 to $30,000. So there's a lot of financing costs that goes in it, and you have to have enough loads to be able to, you know, meet your costs of paying for the truck, the rig, your own personal expenses, and you know, hopefully have enough margin to pay your own rent. Hopefully have enough contingency margin in case a tire pops. And you have to spend $1,500 to replace just one tire. Just think about how many tires there are on part of a truck and a trailer. It's a heavy burden. And I think while this program is fantastic and it opens up a lot of opportunities, there's a lot we can do in supporting them and supporting our goals of reaching zero emission trucks that partner with the city. And I think a lot of that comes from paying a scale that makes it economical sense for them to reach that milestone. So I'm not sure if that's feasible this time around. I know diesel prices are up, tire costs are up, motor fuel costs are up, labor costs are up. And there's a lot of opportunities out there. So it's wonderful we're extending this to 19 new participants, but I also want to be cognizant that we're not paying rates that requires us next year to add another 20 or another 30 because we're not having enough people participate, because they can make more money on other opportunities, which is fantastic. But also, you know, as a board, we have to be mindful of the city and the city's operations and what programs and projects we're trying to deliver on time. So I support this. I just want to put it out there that I would like to find a way to reach some type of new financial pay method that is delivers when costs go up. I don't know how that can be achieved, but I'd just like to throw it out there. But thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Corsand. And Commissioner Reyes, I did see your hand raised.
Thank you, Rose, Melinda, for the presentation. I too support this program wholeheartedly. realizing that in order for us to be equitable, we have to open up those opportunities to our small businesses and folks that are going to make a difference in the services that we provide. And this is one program that is demonstrably very impactful. With the concerns about, the high cost of fuel and the maintenance and repair, I empathize with our board on this one. I would like to just see maybe if there is a way that we could be more consistent in how we peg our rate increases. Like look at in this industry, it's mostly the factor that they use is cost per mile in this industry. So we can take a look at that and see how that could add value to this program once we revisit it and take a look how what that improvement could make, or we could index it to a CPI or another factor so that it's consistent throughout the years. And then the other one is look at grants. The AQMD sometimes offer grants for heavy duty trucks and equipment. Same thing with the California Air Resources Board. So there are opportunities because of climate change, reduction of GHG emissions, that is all tied and could be applicable to this program. As you mentioned, Melinda, about zero emission vehicles. We have that initiative. The onus is on us. So the onus is on us to provide that information to our partners in this particular program. So thank you very much.
And thank you for mentioning that, Commissioner Reyes. I was going to mention something similar just in terms of, getting two things. I was going to just mention the cleaner energy trucks and then just the cost for them. But I really appreciate your mentioning the grant opportunities just as an option for some of the truckers that do so much work for the city of Los Angeles. If Streets LA can just help guide some of these truckers to be able to apply for those, that would be helpful. And I feel that, as the city makes, different determinations, for the Green New Deal and trying to make just a lot of reductions in our emissions and our greenhouse gases, we too should be aligned with that, but not at not being cost prohibitive, but rather helpful. So I really appreciate Commissioner Reyes making those comments to be able to help them. And the other item I wanted to raise was just the certification for some of these truckers. Maybe they haven't had the time or don't know where to start. To the extent that we can as a board, we can help organize either an event or something where we can coordinate and really help the truckers to be able to do a day of certifications for them so that we can bring them under the fold. And while we honestly believe and do agree with the comments that you shared with us that they are indeed minority owned business and they're small, local business, we just need to get that certification just to, provide that, just to bring them into the fold for the city and just our programs. But I think perhaps coordinating with BCA, Bureau of Contract Administration, and doing perhaps a day to be able to get them more certified and giving them that guidance, I think would be helpful. And I'm more than happy to help out, with that coordination.
Definitely. We can definitely schedule a meeting with all the truckers and as well as invite Commissioner Villegas as well as Linda McGlinchey from BCA.
Okay, wonderful. All right. Well, thank you for your report. We appreciate the callers also. And everyone had really, good points just to be able to share and put them on for public record. All right, with that, do we have a motion to move this item?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Corsan. And Dr. Campos, if we could take a roll call for this item.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Madam Chair, would you like to consider this item to go forward forthwith?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you both. Have a wonderful weekend.
You.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
It was so good to hear your voice. All right. Then moving on then to item 5. Let me get my bearings here. All right, item 5 is for all council districts. And this is a sole source memorandum of agreement, Los Angeles Black Worker Center, Los Angeles Workforce Equity Demonstration Project. Recommending the board, subject to approval by the mayor, to 1, approve the proposed sole source memorandum of agreement, an MOA, in substantial form for 2 years with one-year renewal option to create and implement Los Angeles Workforce Equity Demonstration Project, subject to approval by the city attorney. 2, authorize the president or 2 commissioners to execute the proposed MOA. And 3, authorize the Board of Public Works executive officer to make technical corrections, if any. All right. And who do we have for this item?
President Villegas, I will be taking the lead on this item, and I am joined by a team here. Would you like me to introduce the team first and then take public comments, or would you like to consider the public comments first on item number 5?
Let's take the public comment, and then Dr. Campos, you can introduce the team.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. Julia, we'll start with Julia first. Julia Smith, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 5. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Julia Smith, and I am a member of the LA Black Worker Center. I'm asking for your support because this workforce equity demonstration addresses the decline of Black workers in the public sector. It will also address issues of equity in hiring city workers. And most importantly, this project is an example of community-based solutions and what is possible when agencies and commissioners and elected officials bring the LA Black Worker Center to the table so that we can collaborate and harness our efforts to address this the crises of Black jobs in Los Angeles. And I don't want to take up too much time, but it is time for us to do something about the Black jobs crisis. And I want to thank you all for your time and the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Dr. Campos, we have 2 additional callers.
That is correct. We'll go ahead and take the next caller, Brian McNeil. If you can please unmute your microphone at this time, you'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Brian.
Okay, great, thank you. My name is Brian McNeil. I am a member and leader of the Black Worker Center. We'd like to voice our support for the board approving the Los Angeles Workforce Equity Demonstration Project. And this project will help to address issues of hiring and city workers and sectors regarding city employment. This project will combat years of divesting from Black workers in Los Angeles. And this project is an example of community-based solutions, and what can happen when the government collaborates with Black workers. So we definitely support the board approving the Los Angeles Workforce Equity Demonstration Project, and really hope that we can get full support on this. Thank you so much. That is all. Have a great day.
Thank you for your call. Okay.
Thank you. Move on to the last caller, Robert Hernandez. Robert Hernandez, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under item number 5.
Oh, okay, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, board members. My name is Robert Hernandez, and I'm with the LA Black Workers Center. I'm in support of the Los Angeles Workforce Equity Demonstration Project. This project will help directly address the Black jobs crisis and help meet the needs of the Black communities. This project is an example of the community-based solutions and what can happen when the government collaborates with Black workers. Please help us help others by passing and supporting this project. That's it.
Thank you for your comments. And that concludes public comment. Dr. Campos, I'll turn this back to you so that you can do the presentation and introduce us to your team. Thank you.
Absolutely, Madam Chair. I do have 2 other individuals that just raised their hand right when we were finishing the last caller. Is it okay to take those 2 callers?
Yes, let's do that. Thank you.
Perfect. ZEE, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. You have your hand raised for item number 5. If you can please unmute your microphone, you'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Hi, caller ZEE. Please unmute your microphone at this time. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under item number 5. Last call for caller by the name of Z.
Can folks hear me?
There you go, yes.
Sorry, do y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome.
Item number 5, would you like to speak on this item?
Yes, absolutely. So my name is Ziza Pino. I am an outdoor educator, and I am also part of the wonderful LA Black Workers Center. And I really truly believe in the work that the center is doing, which is why I'm in full support of the Los Angeles Workforce Equity Demonstration Project. And I am asking for the board to approve this project because it will personally support Black workers. And it will actually expand the sector where Black folks can be involved in, take leadership roles, and ultimately, provide services for community-based projects that are happening throughout, the city. And so this will definitely help address the decline of Black workers in the public sector. And there's a lot of, like I mentioned, there's a lot of community work. There's gardens that need a lot of support, city gardens that will be amazing to, possibly hire Black workers to be able to take those leadership roles. And basically expand beyond like construction work, right? The project will, like others have mentioned, it will address the issues of equity and the hiring of the city workers. And so truly investing in Black workers is in support and approval of this Los Angeles Workforce Equity Demonstration Project. And so I've been working with the LA Black Workers Center. We've been putting on cool programs through the Wellness Committee. And I just see this interest of folks wanting to be more in the outdoors and taking up those positions. And so how cool would it be and how amazing would it be for the board to support this project to be able to create opportunities for Black folks that possibly can, be working, cutting trees, but also learning the importance of saving water and why we need to include Native plants and Native communities into into the going green or supporting the environment. And so again, I just want to reiterate for the support, for the board to support and approve this project.
Thank you, Z. We'll move on to the last caller on the line, caller by the name of Sherry Bell. Sherry Bell, if you can please unmute your microphone at this time. The Board of Public Works is considering item number 5. You'll have 2 minutes to speak under this item. Please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. If there's 2 things that history taught us, is that when you address the inequities that Black workers face or Black people face, all people benefit. Many people on this call enjoy the right to vote, enjoy a lot of the things based on civil rights struggles, right? And unfortunately, these things need consistent and intentional effort. Things like employment that we're trying to address at the city level with the Workforce Equity Demonstration Project. Sure, it starts with the disparity amongst Black workers in city jobs, especially in leadership positions, right? And that's where we are a catalyst. We're like the canary in the mine when it comes to signaling inequities and also solutions to these inequities. So investment in this project will not only help a community that has been historically and historically and perpetually discriminated against, right? Not only will this project help do that, but it also will make way for laying a foundation for equitable hiring across the board for everyone. Because our community has been so deeply impacted and continues to be impacted by unemployment, underemployment, and wage disparities, by focusing intentionally on partnering with the LA Black Worker Center, and us been doing this work for the last 10 years, subject matter experts in outreach, recruitment, and solutions regarding the access and retention of underrepresented workers and quality jobs. So we hope that you take this opportunity to partner with the LA Black Worker Center. I'm a proud member of the LA Black Worker Center, and I know that partnering with us will help raise the numbers of underrepresented workers, but also create a model that the city can use moving forward if equity is your priority. So we hope that you support us, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your public comment. I appreciate everyone's energy and comments this morning. I am going to turn this over to President Garcia, who's joined us for this item. And President Garcia, we were just going to start on the report, and Dr. Campos was going to introduce his team.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Vice President Villegas, for leading this our meeting this morning. I was very confident that everything was working out well. And thank you everyone else. But I was also very excited to be able to make it back on time for this item exactly. The WED program is an item that I'm excited, a project that I took on also as when I became president from my predecessor, Greg Good, our last president, who started up this project with the LA Black Worker Center. And I'm excited to work with Ron. Where's Janelle? Is Janelle here too? And Adrian, who else is here? Ron, Janelle, and there's a couple of really key leaders of here that I don't see them in my screen right now, but I just want to say thank you for being here, and I truly support this program. And I should just let Fernando start first, Dr. Campos start first, and then I'll give my love and respect for this project. But thank you all, and thank you for having me here again.
Thank you, Madam Chair and President Garcia and Vice President Villegas also for kicking off the meeting today. Good morning, commissioners. A pleasure to be here before your board this morning. It's still 11:50 in the morning. So this is a great day, and it's a day to celebrate a way to be innovative and also address some of the inequities, as you have heard from the callers that have presented before, testified before your board this morning. Before I go into my report, I wanted to take a few minutes just to acknowledge all the work and all the brain power, if you will, that came behind this concept. This concept was something that was developed back in fall of 2020, almost 2 years ago. And we've been working on this concept and figuring out how can we address these inequities? How can we improve our city workforce? How can we diversify our city workforce and create an employment pathway into the city of Los Angeles and or other full-time equivalent jobs with good paying jobs. And so I wanted to take a few seconds just to acknowledge and appreciate all the work and the partnership and the collaboration and the communication that has happened across the last 2 years. It definitely is not just the Board of Public Works. It takes a village to get to this point, and wanted to recognize, we have, of course, Ron Collins from the LA Black Worker Center, and then Janelle Bailey and Latanya Harris from the Black Worker Center. Also, we've partnered with the LA County Federation of Labor. We have Ron and Justin Wesson, and then also Rosemarie Molina from the LA County Federation of Labor. We've also partnered with the Economic and Workforce Development, the Personnel Department, the Bureau of Sanitation, LA Sanitation and Environment. We have Nicole Burnson, who is joining us as part of the presentation this morning, and Adrienne Murphy, who is also joining us, and she has her video cam open. Hi, Adrienne, and thank you for joining us this morning. In addition to that, we have Devin Satorsky from the Board of Public Works, who is our lead in our contract management, and she's been our foundation to get to this point, but because without her, we wouldn't be able to memorialize everything that we want to do with this concept and also present the MOA before your board. And then also the mayor's office for all their support in getting us to this point. They were able to appropriate and allocate a significant amount of money into our budget so that we can move and operationalize this. The mayor's fund has also contributed a little towards making this innovation pilot program work. And then also, last but not least, our Bureau of Contract Administrator, Inspector Reamer. He is not on the line right now. However, he's been very instrumental over the last 2 years in giving us guidance in terms of how we can operationalize the concept, how can we unfold this, and some of the challenges and some of the areas that we can improve on. And so Inspector Reamer, if you can hear us, thank you so much for your time. I know you're not on the line, but thank you for all your efforts and all your communication and also collaboration and great ideas to get us to this point. Commissioners, as you read through the board report in February of 2021, the Board of Public Works made a motion at that time. Then President Good presented the motion to adopt the workforce equity demonstration pilot project. And the goal behind this motion was to do two things. One is to create a framework to develop the workforce equity demonstration pilot program. And then number two, just to explore different ideas and create new models that we can bring in equity to address the inequities within the city hiring, and then also be very innovative on creating career pathways and employment pathways to good city jobs, and specifically the Department of Public Works. We're calling it a pilot project because we want to create jobs or create the jobs and job opportunities to fill vacant positions within the Department of Public Works. In the Department of Public Works, we are approximately 5,500 individuals strong. We do have some vacancies, and with next year's budget that was just recently adopted by our council and approved by our mayor, that new budget in fiscal year 23 will create new vacancies for us to hire. These vacancies are anywhere upwards of more than 1,000 jobs that are available to fill. And so we will be aggressively filling those vacancies. And so the item before you is a memorandum of agreement with the LA Black Worker Center to allow us to not only move this concept forward, but also to start operationalizing the ideas and also the concept itself into something that is tangible, something that we can actually provide the workers and the participants into the program in terms of training, mentorship, and also providing the skill sets that's needed to obtain these city jobs. So the goal of the memorandum of agreement is, one, to operationalize the concept. The second is to provide pre-employment training curriculum. This would be a multi-craft curriculum. This will be also a multi-discipline curriculum. We are looking at filling vacancies in various parts of the city, specifically with the Department of Public Works, but there are also other departments that will benefit from this workforce equity demonstration project. And those departments could include the Los Angeles World Airports, the Port of Los Angeles, Animal Services, the General Services Department. So it's not just the Department of Public Works, although the concept and the pilot that's being before you proposed is to assist in filling the vacant positions in the Department of Public Works. We believe that the byproduct and also the end result will also open up the opportunity to fill vacancies across the entire city of Los Angeles, not just the Department of Public Works. The third goal behind the MOA is to create that employment pathway that many of us have been speaking about, and you've heard through the testimony of the public comment, and that is to create that pathway to full-time employment within the city to fill those vacancies. Also, possibly even placing individuals that have gone through the program in other full-time jobs with our community-based organizations, our nonprofit organizations. What we want to do is we want to create jobs. We want to place these individuals in that graduate from the program, place them into city employment or full-time employment in other locations with one of our partners. In addition to that, we also could offer the opportunity to have these individuals that participate in the program join a pre-apprenticeship program. As you are maybe aware, we have a pre-apprenticeship program in our graffiti abatement program in the Office of Community Beautification. That is another pathway or another segue to move into those positions. And then we also have the Clean LA and the LA River Keeper employment opportunities there. In addition to that, the city as a whole just recently received a grant from the California for All Youth grant, about $53 million to create jobs across the entire city of Los Angeles. So I'm mentioning all these different programs and initiatives because this is just one of many solutions. This is not meant to, this MOU is not, or MOA is not meant to compete against these other programs. It is meant to be complementary and to supplement and to provide an additional option or additional outlet to a full-time employment or a pathway for city employment. The fourth goal, and there's 5 in total, the fourth goal is to identify appropriate classes and to create and complement any new classifications that would allow us to gain employment with the city of Los Angeles. I say identify the appropriate classes because there's currently some classifications that are available for us to fill as a city department. For example, we have the electrical craft helpers, we have the maintenance laborers, we have security aides or security guards. We also have animal care technicians in the Department of Animal Services. So these are classifications that we currently are exploring through this MOA to identify whether this is a great segue or a pathway into those types of classifications. And if not, one of the goals with this MOA, working with the LA Black Worker Center, is to create proposed classifications that the personnel department may want to consider or could consider to create that pathway that we're trying to create. The fifth and final goal behind the MOA is really to provide that mentorship and also the case management for those participants that join the program and walking them through the process. So again, the training and development is one component to gain the skill set needed to fill these jobs, but also providing the coaching and the mentoring and the case management so that we can walk them through the process. We can walk them through the process through what we call City Jobs 101, and this is an element that's going to be part of the MOA. And this is to provide those individuals that are in the program a general overview of how the city employment process works, whether it's civil service, whether exempt position, but also providing that foundational tools that the participants can use to seek employment and gain employment. Again, this concept is a pilot concept. We do have a $150,000 appropriated in this for this project. The proposed MOA is a sole source agreement or contract that is meant to move us and launch this program to the next step. In addition to that, I wanted to bring an update to the board regarding the notice of intention. The notice of intention for contracting these services was filed back in April 21st, 2021. And we also received the approval from the personnel department regarding the 1022 charter requirements. And in addition to that, we did submit a request to receive a waiver for the business inclusion program, and the BIP or business inclusion program waiver was approved by the mayor's office last week, and wanted to provide that as testimony and oral testimony to document that we did receive that BIP waiver from the mayor's office. And last but not least, the board report that's before you indicates that the MOA is subject to the city attorney's review and approval. Our city attorney has reviewed and has provided some edits to the proposed MOA. This falls within the technical corrections that is recommendation number 3 to authorize the board's executive officer to make any technical corrections. Again, these are technical, they're not substantial changes. And what I will do at this point, I will pass the virtual baton over to Devon Satorsky, who will walk you through some of the elements of the MOA and also summarize some of these technical changes that have occurred from the MOU that's before you and what it is as of today, and will be the executed MOA if this item is approved by your board. And with that, I will transfer it over to Devin, and then after that, we can take any questions that your board may have on this item.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos. It's Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Public Works, Senior Management Analyst. Good morning, commissioners. As Dr. Campos said, we're very excited to bring this MOA before the board today. It's been a partnership with the LA Black Worker Center and the Department of Public Works to establish this pre-employment curriculum and ultimate pathway for opportunities within the Department of Public Works. And so, as Dr. Campos said, I'm going to go into a little more detail about the memorandum of agreement. And so, as we know, the plan is to partner with the LA Black Worker Center and in coordination with the LA Federation, who will establish the ultimate infrastructure of the training and hiring program that will prepare participants to be hired and ultimately be successful in these city positions that are available through this training program. We currently have $150,000 allocated in this year's fiscal budget, 21-22 fiscal year, to launch this program. And as Dr. Campos said, we have gotten support as well from the Mayor's Fund, who's also identified other funding to support this effort. So with the executed MOA, if it is approved today, the board will then move forward and board staff will issue a notice to proceed to the LA Black Worker Center to detail the authorized work with the funds available at the time. And so the first phase of deliverables is really the official establishment of this partnership and identifying the needs assessment to create the pre-employment program and the pathway into the City of Los Angeles jobs, specifically starting at the Department of Public Works. We've already been working with the LA Black Worker Center to put together this MOA and kind of look at the scope of work, and they've been wonderful to work with. So we're really excited to hopefully move forward and have them continue to create and really build the infrastructure of this training and curriculum program. So one of the first goals is the LA Black Worker Center would be responsible for creating the ultimate curriculum, and they've already, had some really exciting ideas about the curriculum courses they would put together to train participants for the identified classifications, and working with the Department of Public Works and the Board of Public Works to determine what classifications are available. Ultimately, as we've said, and really ultimately the goal of focusing on bringing equity and inclusion into these classifications we're looking at. So once the curriculum is established, the next phase of the deliverables is to enroll up to 200 trainees to prepare them for these civil service jobs, and then ultimately retain them and hopefully have them promote within city classifications. And like Dr. Campos said, providing those resources and mentoring to ultimately stay in these positions and promote on through the city career ladder. The deliverables also include outreach and engagement by the LA Black Worker Center to target populations and fill these available roles and target these key groups and demographics of people and that we want to fill these roles. So as I mentioned, we have the $150,000 allocated in this fiscal year to launch the program, and we understand that the program may cost more than that in the long run, which is why we will be using a notice to proceed kind of method to obtain as we obtain more resources in support of this project and allocate more work as funding comes. We anticipate this pilot program being a 2-year program, and in the MOA have included an option for a 3rd-year renewal, and will determine as funds become available. Lastly, as Dr. Campos mentioned, we did receive first round of edits from the City Attorney's Office, which have been incorporated into the MOA. And one of the key points to highlight is that we received the required insurance minimums, and those will have been attached to the standard provisions. And just to end, it's been a pleasure working with the LA Black Worker Center so far, just getting this MOA together. So we're really looking forward to the exciting work they can hopefully do for us in the future and in this partnership.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you so much for the summary of the goals of the MOA and also any changes that have occurred since then. I will open it up to any questions that your board may have. I also want to acknowledge the role and leadership from President Garcia in getting this concept underway and moving us to this level. So I appreciate her leadership and her guidance throughout the entire process.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. I almost forgot I was like, oh, enjoying the whole presentation from everyone. I see Dr. Davis has a question. Dr. Davis.
You're on mute. Dr. Davis, you're on mute.
Yeah, I had some comments, but let me start out first just by, first of all, recognizing the work that all of you all have been doing is critically important. I see my old friend there, Nicole Burnson. I know she was working with you guys, but Devin, and I didn't know that Dr. Campos, nor did I know that President Garcia was working on this project. I thank the mayor because, you know, in healthcare, they say Dana. Dana is a short-term slogan for DNA. And in criminal justice, DNA has come in and really has transformed us from guessing to getting closer to the truth. And I will say that in social science and areas like in employment, what we're dealing with, that data serves as the same parallel that Dana serves in the healthcare and criminal justice issue. That when we look at the data, it tells us what really is going on. And when we look at the data in the city of Los Angeles, this project becomes increasingly critical because the data tells us what we need to do. And so that is why I thank Mayor Garcetti and President Garcia, our executive officer, Campos, and Ron from the center, the UCLA Labor Center, and all of those of you, and Nicole and others who are working on this, because you guys are dealing with the data. You're not just out here working on something. You had the data first. I've read your study. I think it came out in 2015 that looked at the status of the employment of African Americans in general in the county, but specifically in the city of Los Angeles. And we know that we have similar programs where I am fortunate to work on the engineering recruitment program for the city of Los Angeles, in where the data tells us a similar situation. And so this phenomena is not something that is a secret. Those who do research know what the issue is here in Los Angeles. So my comments this afternoon is just to commend you for doing more than giving speeches, but putting together a program. And I'm certainly enthusiastically looking forward to the implementation of this program, because the best anti-crime program is the work that you guys are doing. The best Black Lives Matter is the program that you're doing. This tells us that Black lives do matter. And I think that for those in the city attorney's office and those who have an inclination and a passion for the law, when we look at the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, it says that equal protection of the law is important. And it means that every community in a certain jurisdiction should have equal access to the same amount of public services. So if the polka dots, the greens and the purples can come into the city of Los Angeles and gain access, then the pinks and the greens ought to have the same access. That's what the 14th Amendment of the United States of America, and the last time I checked, California and Los Angeles is in the United States of America. Even though as a former legislator, we always thought that we were different and we were our own country. But the reality is we really aren't. We are part of America. And so I come from the school of the 14th Amendment. And I believe that the work that all of you all are doing reflects the values of America. The work that you're doing right now reflects the values of America. So I don't really have any questions, because I know that the work you're doing is the work that we should be doing. So I compliment you on it. And those are my remarks for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. And you know, Dr. Davis, you bring a really good point, and I want to connect with what you're doing to what we're doing as well. And so for folks out there in the public, Dr. Davis has really made this his mission within the board to make sure that we hire as many Black engineers that we can in the city. And he has not only a champion for that, but he's traveled to Washington. He has gone everywhere, Atlanta, everywhere else, to look and seek for high quality Black engineers to join our city. And he has been very successful. I also want to acknowledge that he was able to open an internship program dedicated through historical Black colleges. And him and Dr. Davis and Dr. Campos have been leading those efforts. So Dr. Campos, thank you for that as well, because both of you have been now able to open up, if I'm not mistaken, 12 internship opportunities. You're on mute, Dr. Davis.
I think today, after talking to Dr. Campos, it'll be 13.
Oh, nice. So
we've been able to achieve.
Beautiful, even better. So Ron and everybody know that Dr. Davis is making sure that we bring as many Black engineers into the city. So he's going at the higher level, you know, and I really like where we're all going, because I know that the program that Ron and your team is putting together is to really get our African-American community into like second tier level jobs, right? And career paths down that way. This is what this program's about. And then we have Dr. Davis working on a higher level end to make sure that we also get our Black community into engineers. And then we also have, and I'm just gonna toss it in there, our Clean LA program that is focused in the South LA and a lot of other different areas that also focus on bringing in the brown and Black communities into city pathways. So we're all kind of tackling it different ways, but at the end goal is just opening the opportunities for folks to come into city jobs that then equal to stable and good quality life that we want to open up for this generation and for the other generations to come. So I really commend all of us, and I say all of us here because everybody, including our board members, are very open and supportive to make sure that we do open up these pathways so that more folks within the city get the more folks of I would say lower community, not lower, disadvantaged communities can have a pathway into city jobs. And that would include this program, the program that Dr. Davis also oversees, and then also, again, the Clean LA program. So kudos to all of you, because we're all trying to make our communities more full of and moving them to a middle class, which is what we want, and we want for everybody, and we want to make sure that we do it. So I also want to thank Mayor Garcetti, because Mayor Garcetti has put us all in positions of leadership positions, and to be able to do this, to have the foresight and have the projection to do this, and have the passion to make sure that we do spend our time opening up pathways for folks that need it.
Yes.
So with that, I don't see any other questions from my colleagues. Any questions, comments? All right, is there a motion on the table to move this item forward?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second to Dr. Davis's motion?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyes. All right, was there anything else Ron or the team want to say before we go into roll call?
No, I just want to show my appreciation for the board and for all the folks who have worked so hard to really get this program off the ground. Creating a pilot like this is no easy task. There's a lot of technical stuff we got to work through, a lot of city processes that we have to kind of sync with. And so just want to show like a lot of appreciation for folks really partnering with community. Y'all know this project really came out of Black workers, right? You know, our community members came together, said, we need ways to access city jobs. And it was really the Bureau of Public Works who stepped up to that call. And so just want to show appreciation for this body and really excited to get the work flowing.
All right. Well, we're almost there. We're about to take roll call. So Dr. Campos, there's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Commissioner Reyes to move item number 5 forward and forthwith.
Thank you, President Garcia. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Enthusiastically, aye.
Commissioner Corzine?
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes?
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
All right. All right. This is a historical. I love this.
Yes, well, thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you. Together,
thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Devon, for your work on this as well. It's really a true effort from everybody. A diverse effort. If you can see the screen right now, it's a complete diverse, and we are the image of Los Angeles. This is it right here. Like, if you see our screens, we are the image, and we really represent the city of Los Angeles. So yay, historical time for us. Thank you so much, Ron, and the rest of your team for all the work you've also done.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm actually going to run off to our coalition and let everybody know that the motion passed. So
yay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. All right, that was exciting. I'm glad I made it for that. That was very exciting. All right, colleagues, moving on to business, our business of today. Moving on to item number 6, and this is an item, all council districts by the Bureau of Contract Administration and the Bureau of Engineering, a contract acceptance, emergency sewer storm drain repair quarterly acceptance report, recommending the board to 1, accept the 176 sewer and 14 storm drain projects of the emergency sewer and storm drain repair program as indicated in the attached project summary tables below. And who do we have here for today's presentation?
President Garcia, we have Brett McReynolds from the Bureau of Contract Administration. Also, if your board wanted to consider items 6 through 8 together, you could. They're all contract acceptances.
Okay, sorry about that. You know what? Hi, McReynolds. Good morning. Oh, good afternoon now. Let me read 7 and 8, and then that way you can just do your full presentation. Item number 7, again by the Bureau of Contract Administration and Bureau of Engineering. This is in Council Districts 1, 4, 8, 13, 14, and 15. Contract acceptance, sidewalk repair program, package number 46, recommending the board to 1, accept this contract. Item number 8, contract acceptance, collection system, Sierra Bonita carbon facility upgrade, CIP 7193, recommending the board to 1, accept this contract. All right, Mr. McReynolds, it's all you now.
Thank you very much, President Garcia, commissioners, colleagues. Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration. Start with item number 6, the first one, the citywide emergency storm drain quarterly report. I'm here to request that you accept 176 sewer and 14 storm drain projects encompassed in the emergency sewer and storm drain repair program, as is indicated in the summaries. Those would be the transmittals 2 through 3. Transmittal number 1 is the board report action for how we close them out. Summary 2 is the summary table of emergency sewer repairs project, sorted from 4/18/2016 to 11/22/21. And transmittal number 3 is the summary table of emergency storm drain repair projects completed and sorted by contractor from 8/23/2016 to 10/22/21. So on November 21st, 2007, and November 14th, 2012, and November 15th, 2017, your board adopted joint reports which established a program authorizing on-call emergency repair contracts with on-call contractors. This report represents 191 of those construction orders completed between June 2017 and November 2021, utilizing 18 of the on-call contractors in transmittal 2 through 3. These 190 work orders represent a subset of the emergency sewer and storm drain work inspected by BCA during this reporting period. These emergency projects are typically initiated by the Bureau of Sanitation to make emergency and necessary repairs to the city's damaged sewer and storm drain system. And they range in sewer work from mainline cleaning all the way to spot repairs to complete repairs and replacement as needed as necessary. Projects were performed either on a time and material basis and or agreed price basis and are all funded by the SCN and Sewer and Construction and Maintenance Fund. These projects are all emergency, thus no specific MBEW participation levels were required. Contractors have complied with all other EEO and labor compliance requirements. There are currently no unresolved property owner complaints or other issues with these projects. So I'll move on to the other ones and take questions afterwards. The next package that we have is for the sidewalk repair program, bid package number 46 in council districts 1, 4, 8, 13, 14, and 15. On December 18, 2019, this contract was awarded on a competitive basis to Mike Perlich and Son using the emergency on-call geotechnical list of contractors. This project was awarded for $2,107,936.25 with contingency for a total authorized budget of $2,529,524. The contract repaired sidewalks adjacent to city facilities. That work included curb ramps, sidewalk repair, tree work, utility relocations, et cetera. And of course, resolved issues and brought work up to ADA standards. 5 change orders were issued, bringing the total cost of the project to $2,402,284.38, which is 13.96% above the award amount and 5.03% below its authorized budget. Change orders for this package added sidewalk as needed due to field issues. The contract was issued using the emergency on-call list, so no specific MBEWB levels were established. However, the contractor has complied with all EEO and labor compliance requirements. Funds is from the roads and rehabilitation funds that are associated with the sidewalk repair program. Work for this package was completed on August 12, 2021 and retention released thereafter. There are no currently unresolved property complaints or disputed funds. And the last package is package number 8, which is, or item number 8, which is requesting that you accept the collection system Sierra Bonita carbon facility upgrade in Council District 7. This contract was executed on July 18, 2018 by your board using the existing on-call emergency list of contractors. This contract was issued to Murray Plumbing Incorporated. There was a not to exceed amount of $1,914,590. The project provided repairs and replacement of carbon vessels. Carbon vessels are kind of similar to pool filtration systems. They're cartridges that have to be replaced and replaced, and other maintenance work included ducting, dampeners, demisters, blowers, pressure gauges, etc. This work took place at the Sierra Bonita facility on Gardner Avenue in Council District 7. 23 task orders were issued, bringing the total cost of the project to $1,722,331.89, which is 10.04% below the not to exceed original amount. Funds were provided by the Wastewater Capital Improvement Program. All work, including final corrections, was completed on April 20th, 2021, and retention released thereafter. There are no disputed funds or unresolved property complaints with this package. Due to the emergency nature of work, MBEWB requirements were not included. However, the contractor has also complied with all other labor compliance requirements. That is the last package. I will entertain any questions you may have. Thank you so much for your time.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. McReynolds. Any questions, colleagues? Commissioners? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve item 7, 8? Give me 1 second to confirm my number here. 6, 7, 8, right? Okay, 6, 7, 8, got it.
Excuse me.
No problem. No questions. Is there a second to my motion to approve item 6, 7, 8?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a motion on the table by me and a second by Dr. Davis to approve items 6, 7, and 8 forward and forthwith.
We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzan.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. McReynolds. Have a good rest of the weekend.
Thank you so much. You too.
All right. Colleagues, I understand I just came in, but you guys have been at it for almost 2.5 hours. I think a 5-minute break is due. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. It's 12:25. Let's meet back at 12:30. Thank you.
President Garcia, you're now in record mode. Would you like me to establish quorum?
Yes, please.
Great, thank you, President Garcia. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing quorum. It is 12:32 a.m. We have President Garcia, Vice President Villegas, President Pro Tem Davis, Commissioner Corzine, and Commissioner Reyes. President Garcia, you do have a quorum.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos. Again, thank you to Vice President Villegas for leading this morning's meeting. It was really nice to know that you'll be able to handle all of this, and I wasn't worried about getting back on time. All right, moving on, and hopefully we can capture today's meeting rather smoothly. It's item number 9. This is Bureau of Engineering, Bureau of Contract Administration, and Council District 3 contract award for Agile Corporation, doing business as Lee Construction Company on Collier Street at Winnetka Avenue storm drain. Recommending the board to 1, declare that Agile Corporation, doing business as Lee Construction's first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award Lee a contract for this project for $993,529. And 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. Mr. Powell, you're here on this item?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So this report from the Bureau of Engineering is, as you said, regarding the award of a construction contract to Agile, the recommendation to award the construction contract to Agile Corporation for the Collier Street at Winnetka Avenue storm drain project. To give you a bit of background, the Collier Street at Winnetka Avenue storm drain project will construct approximately 535 feet of 18 to 36 inch diameter reinforced concrete pipe storm drain along Collier Street between Winnetka Avenue and the LA County storm drain number 652 in Council District 3. The work also includes the construction of a maintenance hole, catch basins, a junction structure, and 1,200 feet of curb and gutter. And it will resurface approximately 13,720 square feet of Winnetka Avenue. This storm drain is also designed to serve as an extension of the existing storm drain system to reduce potential for future flooding. This project was reviewed for environmental considerations and determined to be categorically exempt pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act. This project was advertised for bids with a city engineer's estimate of $1,183,150 with a contract duration of 270 days. 10 bids were received on December 15th, 2021. The low bid of $993,529 was received from the Agile Corporation, doing business as Lee Construction Company, which is about 16% below the city engineer's estimate. There were some minor clerical errors and corrections, which are detailed in the report, that are considered waivable defects and did not affect the eligibility of bidders or their responsiveness. Based on the review of the range of bids submitted for the project, Lee's bid is deemed to be reasonable. The project was advertised with a business inclusion program, anticipated participation levels of 4% minority business enterprise, 2% women's business enterprise, 25% small business enterprise, 8% emerging business enterprise, and 3% disabled veterans business enterprise, and mandatory business inclusion program documentation requirements. The Office of Contract Compliance determined that Lee Construction complied with the outreach requirements of the bid. The Office of Contract Compliance further found that Lee pledged participation levels of 11.97% minority business, 0% women's business, 11.97% small business, 6.75% emerging business, and 0% disabled veterans business. The mandatory subcontractor minimum requirement of 25% was met with a pledge of 35.25%. The Office of Contract Compliance also verified that Lee is not a certified local business enterprise. However, this did not affect the recommendation for award. Lee was, just a point of note here, Lee was requested to extend their bid bond, which expired on March 15th, 2022, and they agreed to extend it until June 24th of 2022. Funding for this project in the amount of $1,192,234.80 is available in the SB1 Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Fund. This amount includes the bid award amount plus construction contingency. Therefore, the Bureau of Engineering is recommending that the board declare Lee Construction the lowest responsible bidder and award the construction contract for $993,529. That concludes my report, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Powell, for that. I appreciate it. I see Dr. Davis has a question. Dr. Davis?
Sorry, Dr. Davis, I believe you're on mute there.
Apologize for that. Lee Construction had business inclusion. Did they have contract minimum in the project?
The contract, the mandatory subcontractor minimum was 25%, and they pledged 35.25%. So they exceeded the minimum by 10%. Wonderful. Now, in terms of the funding for this project, is it a federally funded project or is it a locally funded project? It's the funding is provided by SB1, the Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Fund.
So it's locally funded. Now, has this company done business with us before?
I'm not entirely familiar with Lee Construction, but I believe they have.
Oh, they have done business with us before. Okay, thank you. That answers my questions.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none, is there a motion to move item number 9 forward and forthwith?
So move.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Vice President Villegas and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 9 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Oops, aye.
Thank you. This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos. And thank you, Mr. Powell, for your presentation. Your item has now been approved. Have a good rest of the weekend.
Thank you. I'll actually see you in a couple more items.
Oh, you're back to back. Okay, got it. You might not be back to back because the other one's not. Okay, got it. All right, item number 10, this is Bureau of Street Services and the Bureau of Sanitation in Council District 8. This is a revised task order solicitation number 701 and budget increase. Kim Lee Horn and Associates, Inc., Broadway, Manchester Active Transportation Equity Project, recommending the board to 1, authorize the city engineer to issue a revision of task order number 701 to Kim Lee Horn and Associates, Inc., increasing the budget authority from $5,317,802 to $6,665,062, including contingency to provide additional design services for the Broadway Manchester Active Transportation Equity Project. And we have Mara. Good to see you, Mara. And looking forward to hear this presentation. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Mara Lovano with Streets LA Engineering Services Division. So this TOS was originally authorized by the board on February 16th, 2021 and issued to Kim Lee Horn from the pre-qualified on-call bridge consultants list to provide engineering services for active transportation improvements on nearly 3 miles of streets on Manchester and Broadway in South LA. So this is the result of a $24.821 million grant awarded through the Cycle 4 of Caltrans Active Transportation Program to implement active transportation improvements on these corridors, including a Class 4 protected bike lanes on Broadway, curb extensions, pedestrian signals, bus islands, upgraded curb ramps, and sidewalk repairs for these high injury networks. So since we've issued this TOS, the project was awarded an additional $18 million from the US DOT Infra Grant Program to supplement the ATP improvements for the construction phase of the project. But in order to realize the community's vision for a multi-benefit project that includes urban greening and stormwater capture, which were not eligible under the ATP or infra grants, Streets LA pursued and was successful in securing additional grant funding for this project, including a $713,804 grant from the California Natural Resources Agency Urban Greening Grant Program, which will plant 250 trees in the medians on the corridors, as well as install a median buffer on the wide 40-foot wide medians to create a safe linear park space for future recreational improvements. And we also received a $11.719 million grant from the county's Safe Clean Water Regional Program, or Measure W, to implement stormwater capture and treatment improvements, including bioswales, infiltration, capture and reuse for on-site irrigation, which will improve water quality and provide water supply benefits for the community. So in total, we have been awarded $55 million from 4 different grant programs, and each with its own grant reporting requirements. So as a result of the additional scope for these awarded grants, additional design services will be required to deliver the project. And in order to efficiently and cost effectively deliver the big vision of this multi-benefit project, Streets LA is recommending to use the existing TOS 701 issued to Kimley-Horn. So since the TOS was issued, Kimley-Horn has completed many of the preliminary engineering efforts that will be the basis to inform the design decisions for the added greening and stormwater scope. This will save valuable time, and as maintaining the current design schedule for the original task is critical while adhering to the multiple grant schedules and deadlines. Using this TOS will also expedite the production of one cohesive construction document reflecting the multi-benefit scope, and that can be managed and implemented as one project. Also, having one team representing this project to the community is beneficial to avoid confusion and engagement fatigue. Also, initiating a new task order solicitation process could add several months to the project schedule, which would negatively impact delivery timelines across all these multiple grants. The CNRA grant, or the Urban Greening Grant, must be completed by March of 2023. And the Measure W will be in construction during fiscal years 23-24 through 24-25, and the ATP will be in construction from 2024 to 2026. This project also has federal grant funding, so we're required to meet the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program requirements. And the Bridge PQOC was established for various federally funded projects, which is why we're using this list. Streets LA has negotiated with Kimley-Horn to provide the additional services to deliver this project that will create a safer pedestrian environment while providing environmental and health benefits through these urban greening and stormwater capture improvements, creating a holistic one infrastructure project that combines gray, blue, and green infrastructure. So we're recommending that the board approve the increase the budget authority by $1,347,260 to including contingency to a total of $6,665,062. So as I mentioned, the project includes federal funding, so the city must follow the USDOT requirements for DBE participation. The city has set participation level of 8%, and for this revised task, the Kimley-Horn is pledging a DBE participation of 18.14%. This project is funded through a combination of federal, state, and local funds. The funding needed for the ATV grant is front-funded through DOT's Transportation Grant Fund, and there are no revisions to the previously approved amount under this board report. And LA SAN, as the fund manager, will receive the allocated round 2 Safe Clean Water Program funding, and this will increase the task by about $1.2 million. The CNRA grant funds are provided on a reimbursable basis, and Streets LA will front fund these expenditures using its operational budget, and this will increase the task by $91,000. So that concludes my presentation. I'm here with Ana Tibuena-Rendy, and we can answer any questions.
Great, thank you, Mara, for that very thorough presentation. Colleagues, any questions on this item? No questions? And I'll take a moment to say that I'm very excited about this project as well. This is going to come into a neighborhood that really needs the greening part of it. It's I believe it's a lot of industrial parts around there, but also we're surrounded with a lot of community and residential homes. So this is ideal and timely. I'm very happy that we're at this point now. And if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Lovano, you said that this project will start right away.
So a portion of this would start pretty soon by the end of the year to plant 250 trees and medium buffers. So
yeah,
to set the stage for the upcoming full improvements.
Yeah, so it's almost like by stages, but I really like your first stage, which will bring exactly what we need, the tree planting and a lot of this. We just had a heat conference this morning and talked about how heat will affect and how trees mitigate that, the impact in the community, especially a community that has a lot of concrete like this area does. So thank you for making sure that this area received its fair amount of improvement. And so I'm very happy to support this project moving forward. Colleagues, is there a motion on the table to move item number 10 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Second.
Second, Dr. Davis. Dr. Campos, there's a first by Commissioner Reyes and a second by Dr. Davis to move item number 10 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos, and thank you, Mara and Anna, when I'm ready. And I know she's here too. If she's not, she's listening. You both are doing great and amazing job. Look forward to the completion of this program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the weekend. All right, I start the weekends on Friday, as you can hear. All right, moving forward to item number 11. This is a partnership with the Department of Transportation, coming a request from the Bureau of Engineering and Bureau of Contract Administration. This is for Council District 7, a contract award for Comet Electric Inc. 2017 earmark Northeast Valley Traffic and Mobility Improvement Federal Project Number Demonstration DEMO-5006-897, recommending the board to 1, declare Comet Electric Inc. first low bidder to be the lowest responsible bidder and award Comet a contract for this project for $2,995,440. And 2, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract after approval as to form has been obtained from the city attorney. And today we have here Mr. Delgado. Are you with the Transportation, Department of Transportation?
Yes, I'm the project manager from LADOT.
Welcome.
Thank you. So a little background on the project. This project is within the Council District 7. This project is going to install and upgrade intersection and have inter-corridor improvements that include new traffic signal, left turn facing, pedestrian warning devices, ped ramp improvements, and other civil improvements. The contract duration is for 240 days. The project has been reviewed for environmental considerations. It was determined to be categorically exempt pursuant to the provisions of the California Environmental Qualities Act of 1997 under Article 3 of the City of Los Angeles CEQA guidelines. The bid was the lowest of 4 bids received. It came in at $2,995,440 compared to the city engineer estimate of $3,262,076, which is 8.7% lower, 8.17, excuse me. The project is federally funded and is subject to the city's DBE program in accordance with the regulations of the U.S. Department of Transportation, 49 Code of Federal Regulations, Part 26, and California Department of Transportation DBE program. The race-conscious DBE participation level was calculated using the dollar amounts of the DBE certified subcontractors. The project was advertised with a DBE goal of 17%. The Office of Contract Compliance, based on the review of the documents submitted by Comet, reported that the contractor pledged a DBE commitment of 22.61% and an OBE participation level of 3.33%. And under the Caltrans Race Conscious DBE program, the bidder must meet the DBE goal of subsequent DBE good faith efforts. And Comet met the goal, and therefore DOT is recommending or requesting the board to award the contract to Comet Electric.
Thank you for that as well. Colleagues, any questions on this item?
Yes, I wanted to find out about the inclusion program. Is it a federally funded project on this?
Yes.
Oh, it is. So we naturally have done outreach to various businesses in the region, correct? That's right. And did we know the time period that we are anticipating the start of the project?
Well, once the contract is awarded, within maybe 3 weeks or so after, there'll be a notice to proceed and construction begin. And it's a 240-day working day contract.
Okay, so we anticipate, yes, so we anticipate that it'll be completed within a year.
Yes, that's the hope.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Any other questions, colleagues? Hearing none. Is there a motion on the table to move item number 11 forward and forthwith?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Davis, there's a first by Dr. Campos. There's a first by Dr. Davis and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 11 forward and forthwith.
Absolutely. We'll go ahead and start the voting tabulation. We'll start with you, Madam President.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Davis, aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. Thank you, Mr. Delgado, for your report, and we look forward to the completion of this project.
Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Have a good weekend. All right, moving forward to item number 12. This is on Council District 1, a correction. This is a correction of work order numbers Taylor Yard, Paseo del Rio, and Proposition O water quality improvement projects, recommending the board to 1, request to correct the project work order numbers, work order from E908532 and EW400878 to work order number E908532, EW40087D, and EW40087F in the board report for this project that was adopted on April 1st, 2022. And who do we have here for today's item?
We have Mr. Brian Powell.
Mr. Powell, you're back. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again. So yes, this motion is to correct previous board report. Back on April 1st, 2022, the board authorized the award of task order solicitation 48 from the pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental engineering consultants list to Tetra Tech to provide design services for the Taylor Yard, Paseo del Rio, and Propositional Water Quality Improvements Project. The board report incorrectly included work order, E1908532 for the Paseo del Rio project and EW40087A for the Propo Water Quality Improvements Project. Work order EW40087A was incorrectly included, and therefore the Bureau of Engineering is requesting that work order EW40087A be replaced with EW40087D and EW40087F. Therefore, the 3 correct work orders should be E1908532, EW40087D, and EW40087F. That concludes the motion.
Okay, thank you for coming back to the board and making those corrections. Commissioners, any questions on item number 12? Hearing none, Mr. Powell. Is there a second to my motion to move item number 12 forward and forthwith?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Vice President Villegas. Dr. Campos, there's a first by me and a second by Vice President Villegas to move item number 12 forward and forthwith.
We will start the voting tabulation now. We'll start with you, President Garcia.
Aye.
Vice President Villegas.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis. Dr. Davis, you're on mute. Dr. Davis. You're on mute. Oh, there you are. We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vote for item number 12.
Okay. Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Corzine.
Aye.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Aye.
This motion is adopted and carries unanimous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Campos. And thank you, Mr. Powell. You are now officially done, right?
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good weekend. See you. All right, colleagues, that's the end of our voting items. Next, we're going to move on to our oral reports. And this is an oral report status update on item number 13, status update on major upcoming street improvement projects by the Bureau of Street Services. And today we have Mr. Almeida, Saul Almeida. Oh, Mr. Saul Almeida, I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome.
Thank you.
Is this your first time presenting to the board?
No, ma'am. I reported previously back in February.
Okay. Wow, that's like a decade ago.
Almost.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Almeida. Welcome.
Good afternoon, President Garcia, commissioners, Bureau representatives, Dr. Campos, and stakeholders. My name is Saul Almeida. I'm with the Bureau of Street Services, Street Renewal Division of Street LA. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on the upcoming resurfacing projects and to minimize the impact on the community as well as the delays to the commuters. Streets LA would like to provide you with an update on all major upcoming street improvement projects. There are no major street projects scheduled in the Metro or Valley resurfacing region during the week of June 5th, 2022 through June 11th, 2022. However, we will provide an update on our 21-22 pavement preservation program. During the week of June 5th, 2022 through June 11th, 2022, the Metro region will complete 5 projects for a total of 2.43 lane miles. During the week of June 5th through June 11th, 2022, the Valley region will complete 5 projects for a total of 4.78 lane miles. The press releases were broadcasted and notifications have been issued. Streets LA, we're coordinating with council offices to assist the outreach to stakeholders, and we have coordinated with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on Streets LA website, http://streetsla.lacity.org. For additional information or concerns, you can contact Sherrard Nichols at 213-847-3200. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Almeida. Any questions to Bureau of Street Services?
None.
Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Almeida. Have a good rest of the weekend. Or
Thank you very much.
See you next Friday, I imagine.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Moving on to item number 14. This is a specialized on-call maintenance services update from the Bureau of Sanitation. And we have Christopher Giacomo. I haven't seen you for a while, Mr. Giacomo. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How about yourself, Ms. Garcia?
Good, good. Welcome. We're ready for you.
Just want to wish the board and all the Bureau representatives a happy Friday afternoon. This is Christopher Giacomo, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. Going to give an update to personal service contracts C136181 for ACO Engineered Systems and C136182 for Murray Company. Currently between the 2 contracts, LA Sanitation has 8 projects that are currently in progress, with 6 that are completed. Some of the enterprise levels achieved so far for ACO Engineering, unfortunately, their entire achieved is a 48% OBE at this time. They do have some projects that are in progress that will up that EBE number by a couple $100,000. They just didn't make it in time for me to report it at this meeting. Murray Company, their achievement levels are 39% MBE, 0 WBE, 20% SBE, 0 EBE, 0 DVBE, and 11% OBE, with a total contracted out between that contract is 7.3 million. So a significant amount to MBE and SBE. And that's really concludes my oral report as well.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Giacomo. Any questions for Christopher? Hearing none. Okay, Mr. Giacomo, thank you for your report. I appreciate it, and have a good weekend.
You too.
Thank you. Dr. Campos, I think if I'm not mistaken, number 15 has been rescheduled.
Item number 15 has not yet been continued. However, there has been a request to continue the item to Friday, July 15, 2022, if there's no objections by your board.
Got it. Any objections on moving item number 15 to July 15? No objections. Okay. This item has now been continued to July 15. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Campos, have we cleared the desk?
Yes, you have.
All right, colleagues. This meeting is now adjourned. If you guys just want to hang on 5 minutes, and we'll have a quick management meeting, and then we can go on with the rest of our day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good rest of the week, everyone, and see you guys next Wednesday.
Thank you.